What is going on, guys? Welcome to GregglesTV Daily Rewind episode 6. That's right, we're already up to 6 episodes of this, and this is my show where I rewind the news for 1 week, and you can watch all of the last 7 days of tech news stories that I've done all in one video. I put it all in one video, so it's really easy to watch and for you to catch up if you've missed it. And this week was amazing. It's Note 9 season, or Note season, whatever you want to call it. So it's inundated with tons of Note stories. So we have tons of stuff. We have no news about the release date, the price, how the S Pen is going to work, and actually a few more stories other than that. Just a lot of Galaxy Note 9 and some S10 Plus stories as well. So enjoy it, guys, and I'll see you down the road. Sony's new phone, their Sony Xperia XZ2 Premium, is now up for pre-order here on Amazon. I'll link it down below. Now, the big thing about this phone, and they had a phone like this last year, it has a 4K display and has some major specs in it as well. So the phone will retail for $1,000, but what you're getting with that phone is a 5.8-inch 4K HDR LCD display, a Snapdragon 845, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage with micro SD expansion, a 19 megapixel and 13 megapixel camera, which creates motion eye dual. And on the front, you get a 13 megapixel selfie camera along with a 3540 milliamp battery. It also comes with IP65 and 68 water resistance, Qi wireless charging, and Android 8.0. So a very expensive phone, but some nice specs inside with a not so modern design. I do not think a lot of people will buy this. It's too expensive. It's not modern looking. And just those two things alone are going to stop people from buying it. But if you want to buy it, again, it's linked down below. And the last story of the day is about the Galaxy S10 and what this phone could have. Now, there's going to be 3 models, so we're exclusively talking about the most premium model, which will be the 6.4-inch model with the curved display. It's supposed to have, at least there's the current rumors coming out about this, 5 cameras. That's a lot of cameras. 3 on the back, 2 on the front. So the 3 cameras on the back will be, one of them will be a wide angle lens, another will be a telephoto lens, and that's what you already get right now. So that third lens that's going to be added onto it will be a super wide angle lens. Think of GoPro type video shooting or photos. On the front, you're going to get 2 cameras, and this is a little bit, in terms of what cameras are going to be, we're not totally sure. It could be what they're doing on the Galaxy A8, which is a 16 megapixel and an 8 megapixel, and they use that for the bokeh purposes, the blurred out background, and then bring the subject up into the front so it looks kind of cool. Or that other lens, you'll have one lens, that takes regular photos, and the other one would be for 3D sensing. That's what I think that the other lens will be on the Galaxy S10 for 3D sensing. Let's get into the news. The first story of the day is about Nvidia GeForce Now. Now, this is a streaming gaming service that you can do via your PC, or most likely what you would do and what I would be talking about would be from your Nvidia Shield. So for $7.99 a month, you can stream PC quality titles at 1080p, 60 frames per second if your internet connection permits. Again, PC quality games on your Nvidia Shield on your TV, and it streams it from an Nvidia server, and that's been out for a while now, years now, and it looks like Nvidia's kind of doing an about face, and they're updating the service to the point where right now it's not going to cost anything. It's absolutely free. And what you're going to be able to do now is stream games that you own from Steam. Not all your games, but it's over 225 games, and it's going to keep adding games to the service, and the games will still stream from an Nvidia server, so you're still going to get that same quality up to 1080p, 60 frames per second. The cool thing is, though, if you own the game on Steam and it's part of this Nvidia GeForce streaming service, then you can stream it to your Nvidia Shield, all without having to include a high-powered PC, and some of the games are pretty big. Fortnite and PUBG, just to name a few. Now, this will be free for the foreseeable future, but keep in mind, this might and probably will end up costing. There's a little bit of an article that said it could cost as much as like $20 for 25 hours of streaming. That's a little bit crazy and expensive. I don't think it'll take off if they end up doing that. It's gonna cost something, because where does Nvidia make money from this if all they're doing is letting you stream from their servers? But regardless, if you have games on Steam, you'll be able to stream them free to your Nvidia Shield if they're part of that list. Next up, Android Headlines has leaked another render, or official render, what they're saying, of the Galaxy Note 9, and there's really no surprises to it, but it's great to see what we're getting. And it's just the front render, and you can see you get all the sensors and camera at the top with the speaker. You get your power button on the right-hand side. You get your volume keys on the left, the Bixby below that, the small bezels at the top and the bottom, and as we always say, it looks identical to a Galaxy Note 8. It's going to be very difficult to tell these phones apart, at least from the front, unless you say that Bixby button. And our last story of the day is about the Samsung Galaxy Watch. This has gone back and forth with it being maybe called the Gear S4, like it has been in the past. It's been called Gear S1, Gear S2, Gear S3, and then we were thinking it's going to be called Gear S4, and then some rumors came out that it's going to be called the Samsung Galaxy Watch. Well, it looks like it's officially, at least Samsung has registered this logo. We can even check out the logo. It's a Samsung Galaxy Watch, and you can see from the branding it looks very similar to all their other branding of Galaxies. There's really no big difference with it. Also, the other big rumor is that Bixby 2.0 will be in the Galaxy Watch. Now, if you think about that, if Bixby's going to be in this Galaxy Watch, you can almost guarantee that it's probably not going to run Android Wear OS. And I say that because Google doesn't really allow any custom software on their Android Wear OS software, especially a smart assistant. Maybe unless they're adding it as a separate app of some sort and not having it automatically on there. I can maybe see that, but I just don't see that it running probably Gear OS, and it's probably going to still run Tizen. First story of the day comes from Evan Blass, and he leaked a few more photos of the Galaxy Tab S4, which is the flagship tablet for Samsung. So let's take a look at those photos. So the first photo we're looking at is the Galaxy Tab S4 with the optional keyboard cover. If you want to pick up that keyboard cover, I forget how much they usually charge for it. It's $100, $200, probably like something like that. Probably overpriced. Let's put it at that. But yeah, you can see it will come with a optional keyboard cover that you can buy. And then the next photo is the comparison of the Galaxy Tab S3 pen, which is on the left, to the one on the right, which is the S4 pen. And it looks slimmer, more circular rather than more squarish. I still think I kind of like the one on the left a little bit more, I think. And then the next photo is in white, so if you haven't seen, or silver, whatever you want to call it, but it's like a silver white color. You get the camera on the back, at the top, below that the flash, Samsung logo, and then tuned by AKG. And then the black obviously just looks exactly the same, which we've already seen the black, and then you can see the front of it as well. It's got fairly big bezels, no physical home button, and again, no fingerprint sensor either, so it's either going to be on the display, on the side, or maybe they just removed it. Now, the rumors of when it's going to actually officially be announced, the rumors are that it'll be announced the same time that they announce the Galaxy Note 9, which would be August 9th, and then a release date, I would assume, would be a few weeks after that. And the last story of the day is about the Galaxy Note 9 release date. ET News over in Korea leaked out what they're saying is going to be the release date for the Galaxy Note 9, and that is August 24th, which falls right in line with what I would be expecting as well, because August 9th is the official announcement of that phone, the Galaxy Note 9, and then they usually do it about 2 weeks later. And this is actually going to be a lot earlier, almost about a month earlier, than the Galaxy Note 8. Note 8 was released on September 15th. This is going to be released on August 24th, so you're looking at 3 weeks earlier than expected. The reason they're doing this is because of slow Galaxy S9, S9 Plus sales, or at least the sales not where they expected them to be. And yeah, so you're looking exactly at around August 24th. And when you think about it, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, they generally ship these phones earlier. So you're probably going to have the phone anywhere between August, I would say 15th and 16th, all the way up to the 24th as well. Best Buy seems to always release it on the exact date. So if you're getting it through Best Buy, you can probably almost guarantee you're going to get it on the 24th. But if you get it straight from the carrier or even Samsung, they generally get these phones out before the release date. So if you're going to pick up the phone, make sure you do probably from one of the other carriers rather than to say Best Buy or even Target. What is going on, guys? Welcome to GregglesTV Daily, your source for daily tech news. Make sure you subscribe so you know what's going on in the world of tech. How is everyone doing? Let's get into the news. The Samsung Galaxy Watch, the latest rumors on this phone is that it's going to be announced during IFA 2018, which happens in Berlin, and it happens between the days of August 31st up till September 5th. So you're looking at that phone, or at least that watch, I should say, being announced slightly after the announcement and the release date of the Galaxy Note 9. So you probably won't have both these products at the same time unless you buy it later. At that point, you're probably looking at this watch coming out in around mid-September, maybe late September, that it would be in your hands. And again, the Samsung Galaxy Watch, there's multiple rumors going around. It could run Tizen OS, it could run Android Wear OS. It's supposed to have a bigger battery. It's supposed to have, I believe, a bigger display as well. So there's all kinds of things going on with this watch overall. Once we get more concrete evidence and news about this, because it keeps kind of going back and forth, but it sounds like it's going to be called the Galaxy Watch for sure. But otherwise, what software it runs, the exact date it comes out, all that stuff is still up in the air. But it looks like if it's going to be announced on the 31st of August, sometime after that, in between September 5th, you can expect, again, it would probably come out sometime in September. And our last story of the day is about the Galaxy Note 9. A promotional poster was leaked out by Ice Universe, and it gives us a very good look at the S Pen and the phone overall. Now, the promotional poster is cut off ever so slightly, but in the top left, you can see Samsung. To the right of that, Galaxy Note 9. At the bottom, you can see the new super powerful Note. And then you see the phone itself, and it's the back of the phone, and you can see the top, you can see the cameras and all that. It looks like you can see the fingerprint sensor right below that, and then the Samsung logo. And then at the bottom left, because remember this is the back of the phone, where you'd put the S Pen at the bottom left there, and below, to the right of that, you'd see the speaker. To the right of that, you see the USB Type-C, and then to the right of that, you see the headphone jack. And then you see the S Pen. This S Pen is very thick looking. It looks like that's going to be the housing for the battery, that little thick part with the button in the middle of the pen. And then at the top you get the clicky part. And then at the bottom, obviously, that's going to be where you write. But it looks very, very thick. I can only imagine this is going to be much thicker than what we're used to in the past, because it has that built-in battery now. The first story of the day is about ZTE. ZTE was banned from doing any business in America due to them selling and doing deals with Iran, and any companies that do deals with Iran, America doesn't want to do business with them. And America pushed them out, basically said, if you want to come back and do business with us, you need to pay a $1 billion fine, put $400 million in escrow so that if you mess up again, we take that $400 million and fire all your executives. And they have done just that. So it looks like ZTE very shortly, very soon, will be doing business again in America. So if you like their phones and whatever else they make, then you're in good hands and you're in good luck, and congratulations. And our last story of the day is about the Galaxy Note 9 pre-order date. Yonhap News over in South Korea is saying that the pre-order date will start August 14th in South Korea. August 9th is the official launch date everywhere in the world. They'll be launching it and unveiling it August 9th in New York City. And then you're looking at 5 days after that, you'll be able to start pre-ordering it in South Korea. I would guess here in America, it's probably going to be August 10th or August 17th. They usually do these things on Fridays. People, that's usually people's paydays. They want people to feel like they can purchase the phone and afford the phone, so they'll generally do it on a Friday. I don't think they're going to do it on the 14th here in America for us. It just doesn't seem right. It just seems like a weird date. A weird day as well, Tuesday or Wednesday. I just don't think they're going to end up doing that. They could, but I just don't think they will. But the pre-order date in South Korea looking like August 14th. Let's get into the news. The first story of the day is coming from a Polish tech news website called Spiderweb, and they've been in contact with a Samsung employee who's gone into their Samsung headquarters in Warsaw and has had training on the Galaxy Note 9 and knows the release date, which he's saying is August 24th, and better yet, the price. We've talked about the release date in the past, and he's saying that the price for this one will equate out to 995 euros, which is the same exact price as the Galaxy Note 8 last year, which means, and this should carry true for every part of the world, that the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 will be the same exact price as it was last year. Albeit you're getting a newer phone, obviously, a better processor, a Bluetooth S Pen, you're getting a 4,000 milliamp battery, you should be getting a better camera, just an overall better phone. Same design more or less, but a better phone overall, just spec-wise, and better performance on there. One thing to keep in mind is that this is supposed to be the price for the base model. Now, the base model should have 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. Now, that's kind of exciting to think about. The base model, what is going to be the best model? And we've been hearing rumors that this phone could have up to 8 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. We're not positively sure if that's going to come out everywhere or just maybe in the Asian countries or Europe, America, Canada, Mexico, South America, and everywhere else. We don't know. But if it gives us choice, that's a tough decision to make, because even a Galaxy Note 9 with 6 gigabytes of RAM and 120 gigabytes of storage is still a fantastic performing phone. And it's going to be tough. Do you want the extra 2 gigabytes, to push it up to 8 gigabytes of RAM and maybe 256 or 512 gigabytes of storage? I personally would grab the 8 gigabytes of storage. I want this phone to, it's not like the Galaxy S9 or Galaxy Note 8 slouched in any way. They were really good, well-performing phones, but you know what? I always want the best in terms of what I'm getting from my phone, because I'm using it every single day, and I want it to perform at its best. So ultimately, I'd probably personally go for the 8 gigabytes of RAM. Storage, 128 is honestly fine with me, but if they want to give me 256, I'll take it. Even though you get that SD card built into all those different models, it's still nice to have the extra storage, to not have to play around and put in an SD card in there and move files back and forth and blah, blah, blah. Let's get into the news. We have some absolute huge news on the Galaxy Note 9 S Pen with some in-depth details of exactly how it's going to overall work, and let's get into it. So first off, we have a tweet coming from Ice Universe that says, the Galaxy Note 9 S Pen charging is an incredible thing and you will be surprised. Well, this is pretty cool, right? And you're thinking, well, all right, well, what's that mean? Well, I have even further information on what that means. This post comes from the Reddit forums on Android. It comes from Note 4 Throwaway, and if you look at some of his past posts, they're basically spot on. He leaked a lot of info in the past. So let's read this whole thing. It takes 40 seconds to charge, literally. So you put the S Pen into your phone and it takes 40 seconds to fully charge it. That's amazing. The battery lasts about 200 clicks between charges and uses a non-lithium battery. Now clicks, we're gonna learn more about that in a second here. Charges while in the phone. It functions as a camera shutter from up to 60 feet away, and it can be mapped to other features such as launching a specific application for both short and long pressing. And so if you think about that, it's going to be able to be a camera shutter, obviously, and then also you can do it so it opens up other apps and maybe turns on your flashlight, stuff like that. That is pretty cool. One thing, and we'll get to the end, I guess, we'll talk about that other thing at the end. Also, the always-on display text is yellow if you buy the blue Note with the yellow pen, which should be available with black in every country the phone is sold in. So if you get the blue phone, you get the yellow pen, it'll be yellow text for the always-on display. The pen itself uses Bluetooth Low Energy and does not show up in the Bluetooth menu. It just pairs when the pen is inserted. Unrelated to the pen, but one thing I think hasn't been reported, the base SKU has 128 gigabytes of onboard storage. And that's something we've been talking about. That's the rumor that's been out there. So 128 gigabytes of storage is the base model. Awesome. I love that. I don't know which countries will sell it, but there will be another version with up to 512 gigabytes of storage and up to 8 gigabytes of RAM around launch time, but the carriers, at least the main ones in the US, will not be taking it. So 2 takeaways that I'm seeing from this. One is that it doesn't look like the S Pen's going to be a digital note taker, at least from what he's saying. I think he would have put that in there if it was. That's the idea of you can take the pen away from the phone, you know, write somewhere on a surface and it records that note. I think that's a game changer right there. Doesn't sound like that's going to be included in the S Pen. Maybe the future S Pens, who knows? But it does not sound like it's going to be in the Galaxy Note 9. The other thing to take hold of this is that it looks like in the USA, which I know that's the biggest portion of my audience, it does not look like we're getting the 8 gigabyte of RAM version for this phone, 512 gigabytes of storage. Looks like we'll be with the 6 gigabytes of RAM and probably up to 256 gigabytes of storage. That's my guess anyway. Kind of a disappointment. I would have loved to see 8 gigabytes and played with 8 gigabytes of RAM on a Galaxy phone. I think, like I said, the more RAM, obviously you're going to get, you should anyway, get better performance with the phone, just snappier performance, be able to run more apps and not lose them in memory. Not that that happens all the time, because 6 gigabytes of RAM is still a lot, but I would have loved to see 8 gigabytes of RAM. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. New videos every single day. My question out to you guys is, how do you feel about all that news that we dropped today? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you down the road. Peace!